Wow, Errol Spence responds to the injury which forced him to pull out of the Manny Pacquiao fight. Now we get Pacquiao Ugas. Errol Spence says keep his belts warm. We're going to talk about all that and more in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys throw a like on the video. When you guys hit the like button, it goes a long way to notify other people who are looking for the same content as you found in the world of boxing, that the content is the informative content that they're looking for. So throw a like on the video. It goes a long way to help others trace and locate the content. I'm your host, Ego. Let's get into the video. Errol Spence, he had this to say. I came back from worse. As you guys know, this is why you guys got to follow my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. I go over all this. Check my other videos. Errol Spence, Pacquiao, the fight is over. It's canceled, not happening on the 21st. Now Pacquiao's fighting you guys. So Errol Spence responds to this and says, I came back from worse. I went to 3 different doctors and they all said the same thing. I'll be back for sure for the winner. I was taught to keep going and get through anything, right? And in my last video, I didn't get to this portion of his caption. So I wanted to make a follow-up video and talk about that. Errol Spence, he explains to his fans, message to the fans. I am very disappointed that I won't be able to fight Manny Pacquiao on August 21st. Unfortunately, the doctors found a small tear in my eye and said I need to get surgery ASAP. There is no way I could fight with my eye in that condition. I would like to apologize to everyone and thank you for the support. Thank you all for the support. You know I'll be back soon. I've come back from worse. Wink. Hashtag the biggest. Hashtag man down. Hashtag strap season. So regrettably, he's telling the world he is sorry, but he can't fight a fight of this magnitude if he's not 100%. Now, I want to send my regards to Errol Spence. I wish him a speedy recovery. I know that has to hurt because he in fact called out Pacquiao. There's a lot of people saying whatever. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the detractors, but a lot of people hating and saying that Errol Spence was scared and wasn't ready and all that stuff. Does he look like he's not ready? He looked like he was in shape. This is something that I don't believe that many fighters would play around about. Like, if you could see the man's in shape, and I believe Errol Spence really was injured, right? Now, Errol Spence also doesn't have a history of lying like Tyson Fury, so that's why he definitely gets the benefit of the doubt in this equation. Nonetheless, no Pacquiao fight. Ugas, I'm happy for him as well because Ugas is the runner-up. He's the consolation prize, and it's still a good fight, still a dangerous fight. Not exactly what you're expecting, but this does still bring a belt into the fold for Manny Pacquiao should he be able to beat Ugas. Or if you guys can pull the upset, because I believe Pacquiao, from what I've seen in comments, I haven't checked the sports book, but I believe Pacquiao will be the favorite. So if Pacquiao wins, this will end his dry spell of inactivity, as well as he'll get the belt back if he beats Ugas fair and square. So I know it doesn't feel like this for the people who are looking for Pacquiao Spence straight away, but long term of things, I think it still will all work out. Errol Spence, from everything I've read and seen, there's a lot of different pieces of information. Now, I'm gonna just say it like this. You can come to my channel, you can read comments, you can do whatever you want. It's a free country. But I try to provide you guys with the reliable, accurate, intelligent information and opinions. I got the email from PBC notifying before a lot of people that this fight was canceled with Errol Spence and Pacquiao. Some people, like fans in my comment section, they're saying whatever. And some fans I've seen on my videos where I did multiple videos on this subject matter. They're lying. They're heard like hearsay, and they heard pieces of this story and they don't know what they're talking about. So again, take my word for it. It doesn't matter. We still getting paid. But I've seen fans in my comment section and they were saying that Errol Spence has a detached retina and he just told you he has a small tear. These are two different things. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but a detached retina, I believe, would be more severe of the two. And a tear in your retina could eventually lead, with the right, stress, could lead to you actually detaching your retina. but the detached retina is what Abner Mares had, right? And we've seen other fighters get that. Kell Brook had a broken orbital, and they claimed that Billy Joe Saunders had a broken orbital. Luckily for Errol Spence, his eye injury, I'm not a doctor, I'm not there for the surgery, but it sounds like something he can bounce back from, because I know there was a lot of fear. And he just told you, he said, I came back from way worse. And obviously he has to be referring to his horrific car accident after the Sean Porter fight that nearly claimed his life. So I agree, if you could come back from this torn eye or scratched eye or whatever's going on, I think he can bounce back from. It's frustrating, yes. It's a big payday, yes. But at the end of the day, this is your health, this is your vision. So you got to take care of what you got to take care of. Nonetheless, I still think the Ugas fight is appealing to me. It's just not Errol for all the belts and Errol's name and, you know, two of the best southpaws of this generation. But I still think it's a tough fight for Pacquiao. So that's good that PBC had the fail-safe. Errol Spence did mention a couple things on his particular Twitter. And then the WBA said, he said, I came back from worse. And then they said, you will come back again. And he basically tells Pacquiao versus Ugas winner, hold that belt for me a little longer. So again, it's not ideal that we don't get the big fight between Pacquiao and Spence this month as intended. But for all intents and purposes, it really and truly sounds like Errol Spence is not planning on being out too long. And only he knows, and his family and his team and stuff knows what was discussed behind closed doors with the doctors. But I think, you know, just common sense factor, there would probably be a little bit more panic if he thought this would be something that would keep him out indefinitely or whatever. Like a lot of people are saying, it's over, the Pacquiao fight will never happen, this, that, and the third. I don't know that. I think this fight still could happen. And he's talking about hold that belt for me a while longer, right? While I get better, he says, I came back from worse, right? He says, he says the thing is, I'll be back for the winner for sure, right? So these are pretty definitive statements from Errol Spence. If he was getting the horrific news, like, you know, when people get shot or something, they say, hey, you're paralyzed, or unfortunately, Mr. John Doe, you'll never be able to walk again. I strongly believe that Errol Spence wouldn't be saying, hey, I've come back from worse, I'll be back for the winner, hold on to that belt for me a little longer. To me, that doesn't really make sense if the prognosis from the doctor was so severe that they thought he couldn't recover from it. So although it's an inconvenience, we as boxing fans have to stop being selfish and just let nature take its course. In the end, I think it will work anyway, and we'll still get good fights. It's just a temporary speed bump, if you will. But it's not even a speed bump, because the speed bump would have been if the whole event got canceled. You know, it's great to see that PBC and Fox at least had this type of mind for such a big fight. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive that they had a backup, and not just some guy on the couch, but literally a champion and trained professional, a great Cuban fighter that Errol was gonna fight had the Pacquiao fight not even come around. So I'm just giving you guys the silver lining. It's great because, like I said, Eddie Hearn, he always talk about PBC events and stuff like that. He had a big fight for the UK, I guess, Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados. And then when it got canceled, they just elevated the co-feature to the main event, and it definitely took a hit. This is still getting to see Pacquiao utilize his training camp and Ugas finish out his training camp, because here's another fun fact. Ugas was supposed to fight against Marcos Maidana's brother, but surprisingly enough, Ugas's opponent, Maidana's brother, also suffered an eye injury. But yet and still, people are just ragging on Errol Spence and not Ugas's opponent, who was supposed to be right there, Fabian Maidana. And he got an eye injury in camp too. So it's boxing, things happen. I'll keep you guys updated. Subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest. You know I'm good for that. Those are the facts. Those are the latest piece of information. Speedy recovery to Errol Spence. But from all intents and purposes, Errol Spence sounds like he'll be back. He sounds like he'll be focused. And truth be told, he has been through worse. So he says, I don't want no tune-ups. You know, these are all good indications that Errol Spence wants to come back to the high level. No tune-ups. So he wants to go back into the fold, and he just told you he wants the winner in this quote. So I'm with that. We got to just work with Errol Spence's injury, and hopefully Pacquiao Ugas is a good fight, which I do believe it will be. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel. I'll drop the illest content in all the boxes. This is your one-stop shop. You dig? We working. Gang, gang.